What if London's most iconic cathedral wasn't just built, it was reborn? Long before the familiar dome of St. Paul's crowned the skyline, an ancient Gothic cathedral stood on the same ground until the Great Fire of 1666 turned it to ashes. What rose afterward wasn't just an architectural triumph, it became a beacon of resilience, cloaked in mystery, legend, and silent conspiracies. This is the hidden truth behind St. Paul's Cathedral. Long before Sir Christopher Wren laid a single stone, the site of St. Paul's Cathedral was already sacred ground. Perched atop Ludgate Hill, the highest point in the City of London, this spot has witnessed nearly 2 millennia of spiritual significance, stretching back to Roman times. But it was in 1087, under the Normans, that the first true giant rose. Old St. Paul's Cathedral, a soaring Gothic masterpiece. And you know what? It wasn't just big. It was colossal. Old St. Paul's was actually longer and taller than the St. Paul's we know today, and for centuries it was England's largest church. It became more than a religious site. It was a stage for royal ceremonies, reformist speeches, and even civil unrest. The cathedral was as much a political arena as it was a house of worship. You will be amazed to discover that time was not kind. Lightning struck, fires broke out, roofs collapsed. Still, Old St. Paul's stood battered but not broken until September 1666, when the Great Fire of London swept through the city. This time there was no mercy. The ancient cathedral burned for days, its bones reduced to ruins. All that history lost in smoke until a new vision rose from the ashes. From the smouldering ruins of Old St. Paul's emerged a man with a vision as bold as the city's spirit, Sir Christopher Wren. Not just an architect, Wren was a mathematician, an astronomer, and a Renaissance mind in every sense. When King Charles II handed him the monumental task of rebuilding London after the Great Fire, it wasn't just a job, it was a chance to reshape the soul of the city. Wren didn't deliver one blueprint, he delivered many. His early proposals for St. Paul's were repeatedly rejected. Too radical, too grand, too foreign. But he persisted, and finally his great model was approved, a design that would take 35 years to bring to life. Construction began in 1675 and concluded in 1710, marking one of the most ambitious building projects of its time. The result? You will be amazed to discover this for sure. The result was a masterpiece of English Baroque, a style that fused classical symmetry with Renaissance flair. But it was the dome that stole the show. Inspired by St. Peter's in Rome, yet distinctly English, Wren engineered it with 3 nested shells: an inner dome for aesthetics, a structural brick cone for support, and an outer dome to define the skyline. A marvel of both beauty and engineering. Ironically, the dome was controversial at first. Critics scorned it as being too Catholic for Anglican tastes. Yet over time, it became the very symbol of Anglican identity, a crown above the city, a sanctuary for the people. Wren never carved his name in the stone. Instead, his epitaph lies humbly beneath the cathedral floor. Si monumentum requiris circumspice. If you seek his monument, look around you. And truly, no greater tribute could have been written. At the heart of St. Paul's architectural wonder is its majestic dome, rising exactly 365 feet into the London sky, as if marking 1 foot for every day of the year. For more than 2 centuries, no structure in London dared reach higher. It wasn't just a dome, it was a statement. Inspired by Michelangelo's soaring design at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, Wren's version stood apart, rooted in British identity, mathematics, and stone. Crafted from Portland limestone, the cathedral was built not only for grandeur, but for endurance, to resist both fire and the passage of time. But it's the engineering beneath the beauty that truly stuns. Wren didn't rely on a single shell. He created 3 nested domes, a structural brick cone sandwiched between a decorative inner dome and an elegant outer shell. This triple-layered system was revolutionary for its era and remains one of the finest examples of architectural ingenuity in the world. Inside, the Whispering Gallery offers an acoustic marvel, A whisper uttered against the wall can travel more than 100 feet, curving around the dome with eerie clarity. For centuries, visitors thought it was magic. Today, we know it's the dome's curvature, perfectly reflecting sound waves. Even the cathedral's alignment wasn't accidental. Its precise geometry and celestial orientation have fed countless theories. Some believe it was built according to sacred geometry, drawing connections to ancient spiritual and mathematical traditions. Whether by design or cosmic coincidence, St. Paul's isn't just a building, it's a calculated masterpiece. As the dome of St. Paul's reached for the heavens, it began to mean more than architecture. It became the soul of a nation under siege. During the Blitz of World War II, when London's skyline was cloaked in smoke and ash, the cathedral stood unbroken. Entire neighborhoods were leveled, yet St. Paul's remained, a towering silhouette against the flames. One haunting photograph changed everything. Snapped in December 1940, it showed the dome rising defiantly above the burning city. In that single frame, St. Paul's transformed into a symbol of British endurance, an emblem of hope that said, "We are still standing." But this miracle of survival wasn't blind luck. It was the work of St. Paul's Watch, a group of volunteers who manned the cathedral's rooftops during air raids, extinguishing incendiary bombs with sandbags and bare hands. They fought not just to save a building, but what it represented. Behind the scenes, whispers of strategy fed the legend. Some claimed Winston Churchill gave direct orders. St. Paul's must be saved at all costs, even if that means letting surrounding areas burn. Though never confirmed, the rumor became part of the cathedral's mythology. In truth or in tale, St. Paul's stood because it had to. Its survival gave the British people more than a landmark. It gave them something to believe in. A sacred space turned stronghold, a place of worship turned wartime fortress. Not just built from stone, but from spirit. Even as St. Paul's stood firm through war and fire, a different kind of mystery clung to its stone walls. Whispers of secrets, symbols, and the supernatural. At the heart of it lies the Whispering Gallery, a circular walkway 259 steps up into the dome. Early visitors were mystified when soft whispers traveled eerily across the vast span, reaching ears on the opposite side with startling clarity. Some called it haunted, others believed it was divine. Today, science attributes the phenomenon to the dome's perfect curvature and sound wave reflection, but that hasn't made the experience any less spine-tingling. Then there's Sir Christopher Wren himself. More than an architect, he was a leading figure in the Royal Society, a scientific institution wrapped in layers of secrecy, and some argue esoteric learnings. Over the years, theorists have scoured the cathedral's layout for signs of Masonic or Hermetic influence. From its sacred geometry and golden ratio proportions to its alignment with compass points and solar paths, no official blueprint confirms these hidden meanings, yet the cathedral's mathematical elegance continues to fuel speculation. And beneath the floor, the whispers grow darker. During reconstruction after the Great Fire, workers claimed to see ghostly monks wandering the ruins, chanting in forgotten tongues, echoes perhaps of the Gothic cathedral that once stood there. Rumors also swirl about unmarked tombs and sealed crypts buried in the foundations, remnants of a spiritual legacy that predates Wren's masterpiece. Sacred or spectral, scientific or symbolic, St. Paul is more than meets the eye. It listens, it echoes, it remembers. While whispers and secrets echo through its dome, St. Paul's Cathedral also roars with the voices of history. It hasn't just witnessed Britain's defining moments, it has staged them. This sacred space has played host to the final farewells of the nation's giants. Lord Nelson's grand funeral in 1806 turned the cathedral into a monument of naval glory. Then came the Duke of Wellington in 1852, whose procession stretched for miles, a nation's grief echoing under Wren's soaring arches. Winston Churchill followed in 1965, carried in under heavy skies and heavy hearts, as the cathedral once again became a vessel for national mourning. But St. Paul's is not only a temple of grief, it's a beacon for celebration. In 1981, over 750 million people tuned in to watch the fairy tale wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana. The golden aisle, the swelling organ, the sheer theatricality of it all transformed the cathedral into something beyond a church. It became a global stage. Even in quieter moments, like Queen Elizabeth II's 90th birthday service in 2016, its presence radiates dignity, history, and a kind of spiritual grandeur that transcends religion. St. Paul's doesn't contain ceremonies, it amplifies them. Its walls are etched with the collective memory of a nation. Every footstep taken within it feels rehearsed, every silence deeply intentional. It is both the sacred altar and a national stage, a place where Britain's story is not only told but performed. Beyond ceremonies and secrets, St. Paul's lives on in the imagination. It's not just a building, it's a muse. William Blake, the poet and mystic, saw the cathedral as a metaphor for spiritual tension, a towering symbol of both divine aspiration and human struggle. Artists across centuries have turned to St. Paul's to capture the paradox of fragility and strength. Its majestic dome has appeared in paintings, poems, and popular culture, often standing as a visual shorthand for endurance. In wartime films, it rises like a phoenix from the rubble. In apocalyptic stories, it signals that something worth saving still remains. Even in modern media, the silhouette of St. Paul's continues to evoke reverence and resilience, its presence instantly grounding a scene in gravity and grace. Today, it draws over 2 million visitors annually, and efforts are ongoing to recognize it as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. People come not only for its beauty, but to stand where centuries of history, art, faith, and power converge. It's a cathedral, yes, but also a living museum, a national compass, and a mirror for British identity itself. So what's the truth behind St. Paul's? The truth is, it's layered. Stone on stone, yes, but also story on story. Every inch carries a century. Every shadow hides a secret. Wren's brilliant rational mind gave it structure, but it's the city's pain and perseverance that gave it a soul. The myths, the ghosts, the whispers of hidden messages, maybe they're just stories. Or maybe they're how Londoners make sense of survival by weaving magic into mortar. Because even if there's no ancient code carved into the cathedral's bones, the real code might be the building itself, a riddle of architecture, spirit, and endurance. St. Paul's has outlived monarchs, outlasted wars, and outshone expectations. It's been doubted, damaged, and debated, but never defeated. So next time you glance at that iconic dome, remember, you're not just looking at a church, you're looking at the unshakable heart of a city, a monument not only to faith, but to fire, fight, and the fierce will to rise again. St. Paul's, don't just admire the dome, listen for the whispers. Look for the secrets, because this cathedral isn't just a building. It's a nation's diary, written in silence, echoed in stone, and sealed with truths only time dares to reveal. And that's about it. If you liked this video, please give a thumbs up, and if you would like more updates, subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so you don't miss any videos and get notifications on time. Don't hesitate to give suggestions for our videos, and we'll see you in the next one.